अरुणाचल प्रदेश के हफ्ते भर के दौरे पर आए तिब्बती प्रधानमंत्री पेम्पा शेरिंग आज बॉमडीला पहुंचे। तिब्बती प्रधानमंत्री का पीडब्ल्यूडी सर्किट हाउस में वेस्ट कामेंग जिला उपायुक्त कर्मा लेखी, अतिरिक्त उपायुक्त सांग खांजू, भारत तिब्बत सहयोग मंच के सदस्य और शहर में बसे तिब्बती समुदाय के लोगों ने भव्य स्वागत किया। बता दें 11 नवंबर को पीएम पेम्पा शेरिंग तवांग दौरे पर जाएंगे। वे तवांग मठ का दौरा करने के साथ ही लोगों से बातचीत भी करेंगे। आज बॉमडीला में प्रधानमंत्री पेम्पा शेरिंग ने चीन के साथ तिब्बत के मुद्दे को सुलझाने के लिए अपना दृष्टिकोण व्यक्त किया।
It has all been more than 5 decades of illegal Chinese occupation over Tibet, and there have been lots of protests which had been peaceful throughout the world. And ultimately, His Holiness has advocated for middle way approach. So in this regard, how would the Central Tibetan Administration government under your leadership is going to initiate this middle way approach to resolve the Tibet crisis?
The middle way approach is a Buddhist concept. So as Buddhists, we follow non-violence as a means. So we cannot adopt violence as a means at all. It goes against our ideology. So in that sense, when we speak about political middle way, we are talking about middle way between what Tibet used to be before China's occupation, the occupation by communist China, and the present situation. So which is, again, looking at the reality of the situation, because there's not a single country who recognizes the independent status of Tibet, because not many know the history of Tibet. And also the fact that if we have to resolve this Sino-Tibet conflict, there's no other way than to talk with the Chinese government, because we don't expect Indian government to come and fight for the Tibetans against the Chinese, or we don't expect the United States or NATO or any other forces to come in. So we have to be realistic in our approach that if we need to resolve this conflict peacefully, then there is no other way than to talk with the communist leaders, Chinese leaders. And the other thing is, till such a resolution is found, then we have to reach out to the international community. And when we reach out to the international community, then we also take into account of the fact that no nation will put aside their national interests for Tibet. That's also a fact. So based on this, now, of course, Chinese government has been always asking other nations to say that Tibet is part of People's Republic of China. So now when I go and talk with governments in other countries internationally, we tell them that we have only one agreement with Communist China. That is the 17-point agreement of 1951, which was signed in May 1951 under duress, forced by the Chinese government.
तिब्बती प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि अरुणाचल प्रदेश दौरे का उनका मकसद यहाँ रहने वाले तिब्बती लोगों से मिलना है। उन्होंने कहा कि यहाँ आकर उन्हें घर जैसा एहसास होता है।
So what is the purpose of your visit here?
Tibetans are spread across more than 20 different countries, 25 different countries all over the world. In India, we are spread across 10 different states and 2 union territories. Sometimes you get this feeling that there are too many Tibetans, but it's not so. There are only about 130,000 Tibetans in exile all over the world. Out of that, about 68,500 are in India. So as Sikyong, as a political leader, it's my job the first main job is to resolve the Sino-Tibet conflict. And the second job is to look after the welfare of the Tibetans in exile. And if I have to look after the welfare of Tibetans in exile, then we have to visit all the settlements and get to know their problems, challenges, needs, and all that. And I've been doing this since last August at maybe a few more places in Himachal Pradesh. But after I finish this Northeast tour, so this time we visited our people in Tizu, in Meo, in Tuting, and then here in Tenzikang. Today we are in Bumdila.
How do you feel your people are living here in the state of Arunachal Pradesh?
Here, of course, you feel very homely. The state government has also given the status of a state guest, so it makes our movement much more easier. And people are also like us. So we are all of the same roots. So we share the same culture and the same religion. So it's like coming home.